Welcome, please hit the subscribe button. Here's the exact moment every father dreads. Your son walks up to you with that look in his eyes.
You know the one.
He's fallen hard for someone, and he's asking for relationship advice. If you are new, please hit the subscription button. Most dads panic and start rattling off a bunch of rules about respect and communication. But if I had to give my son just one piece of advice that would either save his future or destroy it completely, it would be this simple statement that changes everything.
Never love a woman more than you love your own peas.
That's it. One sentence. And today I'm going to break down exactly why this single principle will save your son from years of heartbreak, confusion, and losing himself in relationships that drain his soul. You see, most men don't fail at love because they're weak. They fail because nobody ever taught them how to love without abandoning themselves. Think about it.
Yor son mythe sommeon incredible.
She's beautiful, fun, exciting. His world lights up when she walks into the room. And what does he do? He starts bending. Canceling plans with friends to be available. Saying yes to things he doesn't enjoy just to make her smile. Watering down his opinions to avoid any friction. Piece by piece, he shrinks himself down, thinking he's being a good partner. But here's the brutal truth. She didn't fall for this smaller version of him. She fell for the man who had his own life, his own thoughts, his own direction. The moment he starts orbiting around her instead of inviting her into his world, something shifts. She begins to lose that magnetic pull she felt initially. Women don't stay fascinated with men they can easily control. They're drawn to men who can't be easily swayed from their path. Your son isn't just a boyfriend or future husband. He's a man first. The second he forgets that fundamental truth, the relationship starts dying from the inside out. Have you ever watched someone you care about suddenly become anxious all the time? Walking on eggshells, second-guessing every text message, feeling like they're constantly auditioning for approval? That's emotional imprisonment, and it begins the moment someone places another person above their own mental and emotional clarity. If I could sit my son down right now, I'd tell him this. Son, you're going to meet women who pull you in like gravity. But don't orbit around them. Don't disappear into their world. Be the sun.
Burn bright with your own light.
Let her choose to revolve around that light. Because a man who loses himself for a woman doesn't end up keeping her. He ends up alone and confused about where everything went wrong. Your peace isn't a luxury. It's your foundation. The moment you let someone consistently shake that foundation, the game is over.
Peace means not feeling like you're at war with yourself.
It's that quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and where you stand, even when emotions are running high around you. Most men don't realize they've traded their peace until they're drowning in emotional chaos. 2 a.m. arguments over text messages. Feeling guilty for saying no to unreasonable requests. Chasing apologies when they've done absolutely nothing wrong. Sound familiar? I once knew someone who was dating an absolutely stunning woman. On paper, everything looked perfect.
Great chemistry, fun date, incredible connexion.
But every week he looked more drained because she'd pick fights out of nowhere, test his boundaries constantly, and make him feel guilty for needing basic space to breathe. He kept playing peacekeeper instead of protecting his own mental state. Until one day, something snapped. He finally said enough and walked away. And you know what happened? She came back completely different. Calmer, more respectful, because for the first time he'd shown her that his peace mattered more than her approval. Here's how to protect that peace when relationships get turbulent. First, don't negotiate with emotional manipulation. When someone uses guilt, tears, or silent treatment to get their way, you don't react emotionally. You respond with calm, firm boundaries. Create space when you need it. You're not a therapist. You don't have to unpack every emotional storm that gets thrown your way.
Take a walk, hit the gym, get key.
You lead by calming the chaos, not diving headfirst into it.
Keep your mission first.
Your goals, your values, your standards. That's your backbone. Lose that and you'll fold every single time someone tests your resolve. When was the last time you felt truly at peace in a relationship? If it's been a while, it's probably not because the other person is the problem. It's because boundaries stopped being enforced and mood management became the priority over mental sanity. Peace in a relationship doesn't mean avoiding all conflict. It means not allowing constant drama to become the norm. Real peace looks like emotional freedom. Not constantly explaining yourself. Not being afraid to speak your truth. Not flinching when someone's tone changes unexpectedly. Here's what peaceful relationships actually feel like. You can say no without fear of emotional fallout. Not saying no to be hurtful, but because you have standards and boundaries. You're not performing circus tricks to keep someone interested. You're just being yourself, and that's enough. The other person handles their emotions like an adult. You're supportive, not submissive. They can express themselves fully, but they own their behavior. You're not constantly cleaning up after emotional storms. You have space to breathe, pursue your goals, spend time alone, and hang with friends, and this is respected because a man with peace is a man who stays grounded. If you have to lose yourself to keep someone, they're not worth keeping. Want to know if you're in the right relationship?
Ask yourself this.
Do I feel like a better version of myself around this person, or a watered-down one? If you're always tired, confused, or anxious around someone, that's not your person. That's a walking storm in an attractive package. Here's where it gets interesting. The moment you start protecting your peace, everything changes. The entire energy dynamic shifts because you've stopped being emotionally available to chaos and started being attractive in the purest way through calm confidence. When you begin guarding your peace, expect some initial testing. When you stop jumping through hoops, there might be harder pushing to see if you're serious about your new position. Stay calm.
Stay grounded.
This is the storm before the real calm arrives. Then something beautiful happens. The shift moves from emotional chaos to emotional respect. Once it becomes clear you won't take the bait anymore, words get chosen more carefully. Yelling stops and thinking begins because your peace has become non-negotiable. Finally, there's a natural filtering that occurs. People either step up to match your energy or they step out of your life. And that's exactly what you want. You're separating those who thrive on drama from those who can actually contribute to emotional stability. Your peace creates pressure, but it's the right kind of pressure. The kind that separates people playing games from those ready to build something real. There's one moment when you don't negotiate, don't try to fix things, don't forgive.
You just walk away.
And that's when your peace becomes a threat instead of a gift. If being calm, grounded, honest, and unbothered makes someone angry, manipulative, or disrespectful, they're not your person. They're your lesson. Here's what it looks like when it's time to walk away. You're apologizing for how you feel, not for what you did, but simply for having emotions that don't revolve around someone else. Every conversation leaves you drained. If every interaction feels like mental combat, that's not connection, it's emotional extraction. You're not even yourself anymore. You used to be focused, happy, driven, and now you're constantly anxious, confused, walking on eggshells. If love starts costing you your identity, clarity, and confidence, it's no longer love. It's control disguised as connection. When it's time to leave, do it quietly.
No paragraph text.
No, maybe we can try again later. No dramatics. Walk like a man who's decided his peace is absolutely non-negotiable. They might not respect your words, but they'll always respect your absence. If I had to boil everything down to one final piece of wisdom for my son, it would be this.
Never let anyone confuse your keenness with weakness.
Don't let them mistake your love for permission to lose themselves and drag you down with them.
When you protect your peace, you protect your future.
And if someone can't handle a man who's centered, then they're not ready for the kind of love you're built to give.
So here's my question for you.
What's the one lesson you'd give your son about relationships? Drop it in the comments because I read every single one. Your wisdom might be exactly what another father needs to hear today.